Hello and welcome to Connect My Apps and this webinar where we are going to show you how you can unlock the power of making your own software integrations, how you can make better decisions based on data flow and automation, and thereby creating competitive advantage. My name is Eric Haugen and I am the CEO of Connect My Apps, and it's a pleasure to see all of you here today. I can promise you we're going to have a very interesting webinar together. So what's going to happen? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to do a small introduction to CMA. I'm going to show you not just what we do, but something more about who we are. And then I'm going to pass it on to Adil, my brilliant solution architect colleague, who's going to take you through the demonstration of Canvas, our very own integration platform service. And then I will finish up with a short summary, and we should all be done within 30 minutes or so. Throughout the webinar, there will be a possibility for you to ask questions, of course. So on the right hand of your screen, you will see a Q&A function that I encourage you to use. There are people sitting behind the scenes here ready to answer your questions. All right, so let's get started. Why are we at Connect My Apps so passionate about software integrations? Well, first and foremost, we believe that integrations should not be a mysterious black box. They should be transparent, they should be easy to create and easy to maintain. And we know that businesses who choose to have more integrations and better automation and data flow, they grow faster than their competition, simply because they're able to respond to the events in the market, for instance, based on having the right data available at the right time. A clear competitive advantage. And we at CMA, we have been doing this for over 10 years. The company was founded back in 2014, and we have now more than 1,000 clients using our platform, something that we're very proud of. Mostly our clients are in the Northern European geographical space, but there are also customers in other places of the world. And this 10 years of experience is what we have taken to create our very own integration platform as a service, Canvas, which was launched last year in October 22. Canvas can both be used in-house in your organization or externally as part of your offering towards your customers and clients. For instance, you could use Canvas to connect all those integrated business applications that you have in your business but are not maybe speaking to each other today, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud. As a customer of Connect My Apps, you can choose whether you would like to use integrations and Canvas together with our professional services, or if you want to have your people develop themselves. And this is what we're going to show you today. So let me introduce you to my solution architect colleague, Adil Fylling, who's going to demonstrate some very cool features of Canvas and a short presentation of what it can do for you. But before I let him do that, let me ask you this. I would like you to make a choice throughout this presentation. What would you like to use Canvas for? What would be the first application that you think you would like to connect? Don't forget to use the Q&A function on the right hand of your screen, and let's get on with the demo. Adil, over to you.
Thanks, Eric. Hey, my name is Ari, and I'm a solution architect at Connect My Apps. And I'll be showing you Canvas, our low-code integration platform. In the space of about 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to build several integrations, starting out easy and then getting into the technical stuff at the end. So let's get into it. Now, for the purpose of this demo, let's imagine a scenario where you're using HubSpot for marketing, Salesforce to manage customer relations, and Business Central as an ERP. Now, we're going to build several integrations between these, but we're going to start out easy with a simple transfer of customers from HubSpot to Salesforce. So let's get into it. Here I'm logged into HubSpot, and you see that I have some contacts set up. And I want to transfer these into my Salesforce account. So to do that, let's head over to Canvas. Let's start out by connecting to the applications that we're going to integrate. I'll click Add New Application, and I get a long list of ready-made connectors. When you use our connectors, we take care of all the complicated parts of connecting to an API. Whether it's refreshing of tokens, secure storage of API keys, connecting to on-prem solutions, file-based solutions, cloud, GraphQL, SOAP, we've got you covered. Now let's search for Salesforce. And click to authenticate. I'll get an OAuth pop-up, but since I've already accepted this before, it's going to go away. And now I'm authenticated with Salesforce, and I've already gone ahead and connected to the various other applications that I'll be using. So now let's get into actually building the integration, or the workflow as we call it. So I head over to Workflows, and I click Add New Workflow. And I get a choice. Do I want to set up the workflow using a ready-made template or build one from scratch? If you have a ready-made template, you can set up the integration with a couple of clicks. But in this case, I'll build it from scratch to show you the whole process. So I'll choose my applications and click Next, give it a name, and click Finish. And then I'll be presented with a blank canvas, and I can start to build integration by dragging ready-made blocks of code onto the canvas. So I'll need a block to get contacts from HubSpot, and I'll need a block to create and update the contacts in Salesforce. But in between these, I'm going to need to do a transformation to convert the data to a format that Salesforce will accept. And to do this, I'll be using the mapper block. The mapper block lets me take one or more input sources and to transform it to a given output format using a mapping table. So if I click Map Model, Canvas will actually sample the data coming out of HubSpot and use that to generate a mapping table. You can think of this sort of like a spreadsheet, where you have a source column and a target column. And to map between them, you can simply drag and drop the fields as you see fit. So I'll get the first name and the last name fields, and I'm going to need the email. And of course we have support for transformations in here, but in this example I'm just doing a simple field mapping. And let's find the country field. There we go. And save it. Now I can save the workflow and run it. So the workflow will now fetch contacts from HubSpot, map it using our mapping table, and send it to Salesforce. And I can actually check the data that came out of HubSpot, see how it was transformed using our mapping table, and I can check the response coming back from Salesforce. And I see that we have 3 contacts that have been created in Salesforce. So if I head over to Salesforce and do a refresh, I'll see my 3 contacts having been created there. So that's our first workflow. So now that this is done, I can schedule it and set it to run, say, every 5 minutes automatically. Now let's take this to the next level. Let's add in a couple more workflows. Let's add in a transfer of customers from HubSpot to Business Central and a transfer of opportunities from Salesforce to Business Central. Now in this case, I've prepared a couple of templates, so I'll set up the template for transfer of contacts to Business Central, and there it is. It's structured in the same way as we saw previously, and I can immediately run it. And if I check, I'll see that the customers have been transferred to Business Central. So that's it. I can turn the schedule on and set it to run every 5 minutes, and then set up the next template for the transfer of opportunities from Salesforce to Business Central. Let's just turn the schedule on immediately, and there we go. I run it, and it's done. And if I refresh in Business Central, I'll see that my opportunity has been transferred. So that's how easy it is to set up integrations on Canvas using ready-made blocks and templates. But what about more complex situations and custom needs? Well, this is where Canvas gets to shine, showing its true power and flexibility and what you can do with custom code. So let's set up a scenario where you want to fetch a mapping table from an FTP server. And to combine that with the data coming out of Salesforce, when creating the invoice in Business Central. Let's see how we can solve that on Canvas. So here we see the mapping table that we will be fetching from the FTP server. It has two columns, a country column and a salesperson code column, which we will fetch and use to dynamically enrich the data coming out of Salesforce. So let's head back into the workflow for the transfer of opportunities, and let's add in another application. Let's add in the FTP server. And then let's drag out the FTP get block and use that to fetch the salesperson code map from the FTP server. I'll configure the file name and I'll save it, and I can do a run of just this block to see that it works. And here I see the output data structured as JSON, which I can use in custom code. So next I drag in a custom code block, put it under the FTP get block, give it a name, and then I can edit the code directly in my browser. And I have a ready-made snippet here. It basically takes two inputs, the opportunity data and the mapping file. It then loops over the opportunities in the input. It checks to see if there's a mapping entry for the given country for the opportunity. And if a mapping is found, it sets the salesperson code on the opportunity using the value from the mapping table. Now we just have to provide the inputs to the block. Now let's save this, but let's try something a little bit differently. Let's run this in our browser instead. We can do this using our browser's built-in debugging tools. This is one of the great powers of Canvas, that you can actually run and debug the code directly in your browser. In this case, I can run it line by line and inspect the input opportunities and see the values that come through. I can see the mapping table, and I can see how the logic works to find the correct mapping for the country, and I can verify that the salesperson field has been set with the correct salesperson code. So I can save it, but before I run it, I need to make another adjustment. I need to include the new field in the mapping table. So if I go into the mapping table, I can manually add a salesperson code field and then add it to the mapping table to ensure that it's transferred over. Then I can save that. And finally, I need to just make sure that the mapper block gets its input from the newly generated data coming out of the custom code block. Now that that's done, I can do a run, and I can head over to Business Central, do a refresh, and check the invoice to see that the salesperson code has been correctly set for the country used in the opportunity. So that was one custom code scenario, but let's take a look at another. Let's say that you want your integration to create notifications, to send you emails when you get a specific type of sale. In Salesforce, there's a custom field called VIP on the account object, and you would like to be notified when sales to VIP accounts come through. Let's add a custom code block. And let's set the inputs. And let's paste in a little snippet I have prepared here. It basically just sends an email to my email address if the VIP field is set on the input opportunity. Now let's run this block. And we see in the output that we found a VIP sale. And if I check my mailbox, I see that I have received a notification about a new VIP sale. Great! I think this workflow is pretty good. but it could maybe be a little bit more poetic. So just for fun, let's see what ChatGPT can do for us if we build it into the workflow. I created a simple little block that sends a REST request to ChatGPT and asks it to write a little poem based on the sales data that I pass it from Salesforce. Let's see what the response is. In the glow of business flurry, a sale does unfurl. 10 hours of consultancy, like a precious pearl. Automate with Canvas, watch your profits whirl. Efficiency embodied, it's a whole new world. Back to you, Eric.
Thank you so much, Adil. Great demonstration as always. Very exciting to see. And I must admit, I particularly liked the little extra flair with the ChatGPT poem at the end there. Very funny. So, quick summary. Now you would have seen how Canvas can be used as an integration tool without doing any or much coding. You could see that we can connect to a number of different types of apps. Well, today it's been ERPs and CRMs and files and so on. But there are hundreds of applications available in the Canvas platform. Either dedicated apps, or when you can use the REST API, you can connect to virtually anything. And remember, Canvas can also be used not just for cloud applications, but also on-prem. So the variety is very, very, very wide. So I hope this inspires and that you see what Canvas can be used for within your organization or as part of your offering towards your clients and customers. And I hope you made a choice. Which app would you like to start with? I'll be excited to know. Canvas can be used for both simple and more complex integrations. And it really just depends on your needs and the skill of the people who's operating it. Whether it's in-house use or externally as part of your own offering. Now, if you would like to know more about how Canvas operates and what the business opportunities are, please do get in touch. Our integration experts are very much looking forward to hearing from you. And with that, we're at the end of the road for today. It just leaves me with saying thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Do please get in touch, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.